going to go straight into Total Recall, which is the film that we're talking about this week. And I am so excited because this film is pretty much in my top 10 films of all time.
Is it?
Yeah,
Huh.
like
Oh.
I mean, I grew up watching this film. It always happened to be on TV, so I always sort of saw it. And I remember when I was younger seeing the trailer. We watched the trailer just before we called you in on for this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching the trailer and seeing the X-ray scene moment where he jumps through the
Mm,
X-ray. And at
mm,
that
mm,
point,
mm,
I hadn't seen anything that advanced and that amazing in
mm.
sci-fi. For my little brain, I was like, wow. And the whole 2 weeks and the you get ready for a surprise and all of
And
these.
the head opening, the woman's head opening to reveal Arnie inside, that was always in trailers and magazines, I remember.
Oh, because I mean, it was so for the time in 1990 when it was released, it was
Mm,
absolutely fantastic, and it was
mm.
just one of these incredible films. And since then, as an adult, I think I probably watch Total Recall 5 to 10 times a year randomly. Just it'll be on TV,
Wow.
maybe more, maybe more. So I didn't have to
That
watch
that is
this.
that is total recall. That's not
Yeah,
partial recall. That is total.
I know
You're
this
doing it right.
film. I know this film inside out. So like I've watched this a lot. So when we're doing this, I was like, great, no homework required. I'm like,
You're the expert on this film.
well,
I have seen it less.
okay, no pressure. Shit, he's just said, great. So let's talk about the film. Okay, so if you don't know,
Yes.
let's pretend the Colin Farrell film it does not exist. Okay, so let's just pretend it doesn't exist. Let's talk about the film. So let's have a rundown of the film. There will be spoilers for those who haven't seen the film. Come on, like, for God's sake, it is at least 30 years old. 30 years old. So,
Yeah.
this is set in the very futuristic year of 2084, which isn't actually that
Wow.
far around the corner.
No.
Douglas Quaid is a beefy construction worker. And he has these.
No.
Row, row. Mine has just become some kind of like really strange broken dog sound. Row, row.
There's great Arnie noises in this film. I mean, the first thing I took away from it is the what fantastic Arnie noise it gives, even from the opening scene where he's in his mad dream and his eyes pop out. And he's I.
Yes.
You know what? You say he's a dog. I thought earlier when I was out on my fitness walk of the morning, I thought he's kind of Arnie would be kind of like a Labrador. You know, you kind of go, hey, oh, come on, Arnie, come on. And he just kind of towards,
Yes.
yeah. And you kind of fuss him a bit and go, there's a good Arnie and give him a treat.
There's a good
And
Arnie. Oh my god.
then he goes away again. I don't know. I don't know what he does. What does Arnie do? I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
If there's your first question for the chat. If Arnie was a dog, what breed would he be? There you go. Very intelligent questions we ask on this podcast. So
Oh, well. Oh, we're shit hot here, I tell you.
we're shit. I'm telling you, like big brains. We got big brains.
This place is intellect personified.
So 2084. Arnie is Douglas Quaid. He dreams about being on Mars and this mysterious woman.
Mm.
His wife Laurie, who is played by Sharon Stone, assures him that that's not the case and keeps discouraging him from going to Mars. And she keeps going, don't go to Mars. Mars is not the place for you. It's a shithole on Mars. She always says this. It's a shithole.
Mm.
So one day, his curiosity gets the better of him, and he goes to a place called Recall, Rekall. And at
Mm.
Recall, what they do there is they implant memories of like vacations, for example, where you can have these fantastical vacations.
Mm.
It's like an FMV game in your head. That
It's
is
like absolutely, yeah. It's better than Life from Red Dwarf.
exactly. It's like an FMV game in your head. So basically, that is exactly what it's like. And it turns out when he gets this, when they try to implant,
FMV games are in my head. My God,
he
that's my life now.
like
Sorry, carry on.
Rupert is Douglas Quaid personified. Rupert Quaid. I'm just gonna start calling Quaid.
I haven't quite got the pecs.
Quaid. Right, we'll get to that bit.
No.
So basically, those memories that they're trying to implant this memory, then they realize that actually he has suppressed memories of being an actual secret agent on Mars, and that's when the story begins. We go to Mars. We see a very oppressed society that lives on Mars, oppressed because the air is expensive. You have to pay for it. We have Cohagen, Velos Cohagen, who is the corporate bad guy in
That's a
this.
great name.
A great name, and he is the corporate
Really
bad
good. Yeah.
guy in this Paul Verhoeven film. And Paul Verhoeven is an amazing director. He always has the best corporate bad guys. So tell me, Rupert, when you saw this film, you know that I love this film. When you saw this film, what were you
Yeah.
thinking? How old were you? Like, what was the vibe?
So, normally I can place these things really easily. This one I can't. I know I didn't see it at the cinema. So, 1990. I've got a bit of a problem with Arnie.
Right.
I
Okay.
I I am an up myself 19-year-old, 18-year-old going, why does this actor get work? He can't act.
Mhm.
Um and in all fairness, he can't. And so I was very I have a friend. You see, to my mind, Arnold Schwarzenegger is as if Tommy Wiseau was done right. Um,
Okay. Right. Okay.
Imagine it. Imagine it. You can put Tommy Wiseau straight into Total Recall, and a lot of the way he says things is exactly the same. Oh, I was made by aliens. Yeah, all right, Tommy. And so I was furious
That's fair.
at the time at the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger had a career. Now, comparing his acting career and mine, maybe I should shut fuck. But
That's fair.
so I didn't see it at the cinema. I refused. I remember being a bit kind of folded arms and going, oh, fuck it, I'm not going to go and see that. I'm going to go and see some French art film instead, where they all sit around and go, no,
So Rupert was a
no.
hipster, ladies and gents.
I was before they were invented. Yeah.
And that makes you
So yeah,
even more hipster. You were hipster
isn't
before
is isn't
hipsters.
isn't I was a hipster when they were still called hippies. Um, I and yeah, and so I think I saw it on telly, and I wasn't paying my full attention the first time round. Um, so I kind of like have half memories of it, and then I've kind. It's one of those films that I never really sat down to watch.
Yeah.
I kind of have absorbed the whole thing whenever it's been on. Um, I sat down and went, I haven't watched Total Recall as a film, as a whole thing. I mean, I know everything that I've seen, probably every scene, but never in the right context.
Yes.
So I sat down and watched it and went, oh, that was really interesting. Actually, that was really quite,
Yeah.
it's a clever idea. It's an interesting idea. Arnie still can't act though. In it,
He's a good. I think the thing about Arnie, I totally get, and it's the thing that people say about Keanu Reeves, who can't act and all this kind of stuff. There are
oh,
certain
but he can.
he can act in certain roles when he's not saying very much, like John Wick, for example, when he's like a sturdy, sort of like very kind of he's very good at being controlled, Keanu, because I think he's probably quite a controlled person in real life. I feel like that comes from a real
Uh,
place. But with
yeah, you
Arnie,
have to be so nice.
Arnie is popcorn, like, and I think Arnie knows that, and I think, and because he,
Arnie, well, this is it.
and this is the thing, because I think Arnie knows that, and
Mm,
he's in popcorn films, even though Total Recall has, which we're going to talk about the themes as we go on, Total
mm.
Recall has really clever, really
Oh
intelligent
yeah,
themes that make us think.
oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but if, you know what, Arnie, I was watching an interview with Arnie on YouTube. I think it was for GQ magazine, and he was talking about some of his most famous roles, and he talked about Total Recall, and
yeah.
it made me really love him even more. And he said that he was dying to be in this film. He was dying to be in this film,
Hmm.
and he knew that Paul Verhoeven would be great for it. He was like, I wanted Paul Verhoeven, and so he
Hmm.
saw him in a restaurant, and it was in LA, and he was like, Paul, like. I've got my hands in the script. Honestly, it's so good. You need to get involved. And I love that he's got an instinct. I think he's got an instinct for Hollywood, and he's got an instinct of
Oh,
how to be big, how to be, from where he.
Arnie,
And I've read the biography, Rupert. I know a lot about Arnie, so I'm just
now I haven't, and I'd be fascinated. Arnie, I am a great fan of Arnie these days. What an interesting guy. What an
yeah.
interesting and odd life. Characterized by I will do exactly what I want, provided I'm not hurting someone else.
Mhm.
And good for him.
Yeah.
So starts out as a bodybuilder, becomes Mr. Universe, gets into acting because of that with Conan and stuff.
Mhm.
Gets the Terminator, which changes his life.
Yes.
That's the role. That's the role where people notice him as an actor. Now, he is superb in that because the Terminator is monosyllabic and massive,
Yes.
and it's what he does very well. And Conan, he kind of got away with Conan to me because it was so over the top anyway, and Conan's kind of meant to be a bit thick.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Well,
like,
Conan's
hey,
meant
what,
to be thick. It's fine.
what I'm going to do, say hi or punch your horse? I'm going to punch your horse now.
Say hello or punch your horse. I love it.
It's the very way I live life, or did until this year when I'm locked down and can't go around punching people's horses. Obviously, I mean that would be crazy.
No, I mean even horses need to social distance. Even horses need to social distance.
I don't want to get infected. So this year the horses remain sadly unpunched.
Guys,
but yeah,
human rights, animal rights. Don't go punching horses. Just don't.
I don't hate horses, by the way. I don't. I have never punched a horse in my life, and actually, nor has Arnie. I'm sure. I imagine it was a stunt horse.
Arnie's great. Like, I'm gonna put this question into the chat here because we're veering a wee bit away from Total Recall just to get a vibe. Cactus says he loves Running Man.
Yeah, I do.
Running Man is great because I think Arnie works in Total Recall and works in Running Man because they are both bombastic films trying to make a very strong point about how ridiculous and how horrible things can be about society, and they're battering you over the head with it, I think, with the point as well. But that's his style. Arnie is a big action hero, and so and that's why it works.
Arnie does big over the top performances that are. It's like William Shatner. You hire William Shatner, you get a William Shatner performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's great. That's a good thing.
Absolutely. It's like, I think with this, honestly, with
Arnie, I mean.
Sorry, go on. So your Skype's lagging a little bit. Sorry, your Skype's lagging.
Yeah, it looks terrible to me here. I don't know why. Arnie, as you said earlier on, he very much found what he was good at and stuck with it.
Yes, absolutely.
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 So his films are enormous fun, even if they aren't all that good, or even if he isn't giving what would generally be considered to be a good acting performance in it. It kind of doesn't matter.
No, I don't think
because he's giving good Arnie.
He's giving good Arnie.
That's what all the greatest stars do. They just give good themselves. I mean, Marlon Brando. When you get him in Superman and stuff, he doesn't give a shit. He can't be bothered to even learn the English language anymore. It's just kind of like, hey, Kal-El, something, Krypton. He doesn't care. He's just reading it off a cue card. Clearly, yet he's still Marlon Brando, and it's still kind of like, oh my God, you're Superman's dad. That amazing. Some actors get by on charisma.
Ellie here said on the point of sci-fi can be a great format to shine light on complex social issues in a way that the public will be more receptive to. 100%, and I think you can absolutely do that with this film.
I'm shining light.
Look, and to further strengthen your point, Ellie, there you go. Look at the production values. Very high production values on this podcast. Very high. You only come here for the top quality content, that's for sure.
Yeah. This is 8K red. This is
the release came. So Total Recall came 3 years after RoboCop, and I was reading here on the internet actually, and I didn't realize this before. It could be said loosely that it's part of a sort of somewhat of a trilogy by Verhoeven about sort of corporate takeover and sort of a satirical take on governments and corporation and governance in general. So you got RoboCop, then we had Total Recall, and after that, a long while later comes Starship Troopers, which is another film that shines it shines a light on the government and military and glorifying war. So he has these themes, and I think he does these perfectly in Total Recall. But I wanted to ask you actually just a random question, Rupert. If you had a memory implant, if you could implant a memory of a vacation, what would it be? What would it be? And what would the
well, first of all,
what would the implications be? Do you think it's right to? Would you agree with that?
Right. Well, first of all, I'd call it a holiday rather than a vacation,
Yes.
because I'm from England, and the 70s.
Yeah.
Secondly, there's nothing. I, because I was thinking about this because you sent me the question, to think about earlier, and I thought I wouldn't. I'm much more interested in making memories from the future
Right.
than revisiting those of the past,
Okay.
because I've already done that. I've done that and got the T-shirt,
Right.
and probably throw the T-shirt away because it's really old and stinky by now. Because some of these memories are, as old as Total Recall. So, so I can't. I couldn't place any memory of a holiday or anything like that specifically that I would go back to.
See, I
Whether
don't.
it's
I'm the
right or
same.
not.
I'm the same as you,
Mhm.
and it's a question for the chat as well. Let us know if you would have a memory implanted, like a vacation or holiday. Would you implant a holiday memory into your brain, like much like what Arnie does in or Quaid does in Recall? Because I
Mm.
don't know. Like I'm kind of like you. If it's not real, I'm a control freak, and I like to know what memories I have. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and also my memories are my own.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want anyone else poking about in them. And you see, I personally in that world initially would completely distrust the technology and the people behind it and go, no, you're not getting them. They constantly say, oh, brain fucking.
Mhm.
Is a phrase that comes up. Why are you talking to those brain fuckers and all that sort of thing? That's
Mhm.
how I'd be. I'd be kind of like, no, you're not going to brain fuck me,
No. No.
because
Exactly.
I'm brain fucked enough as I come.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's a good point, actually. The way they describe it
Yeah,
is quite invasive, and it is
yeah.
invasive. And
Well, it's the most invasive. I've always thought with torture and things like that. You hear about people in the Second World War and subsequently, obviously, who've been tortured, and they always say at the end of the day they couldn't get me in here.
no, exactly,
Um,
exactly.
and
This
that
is
and
this
that was how
is
they got their strength to get through the torture. But they can, in this they can get you in here.
100% because there is a
Yeah.
point in the film where he's confused because they
Mm.
try to trick him back into taking a pill that would bring him back into his
Hmm.
life. And when you
Hmm.
don't know which reality you're in, that's when it becomes scary for me.
And Sharon Stone's also very sweaty all throughout it. That would confuse the hell out of me, seriously. I'd forgotten that bit. I'd forgotten. Oh, hello.
Rupert, calm
All right.
yourself down, my friend. Calm
I'm
yourself
calm. I'm,
down.
I'm perfectly calm. I'll just go to a cave somewhere.
Yeah, the guys in the chat are saying so. Strangle says, "I'd worry about the risk of brain damage or psychiatric problems or anything like that." See, I would worry
Yeah,
about that as well. We see that with
yeah,
Brazil.
yeah.
Remember?
Absolutely. Brazil's kind of the opposite side. Total Recall to me is basically in that 80s future that happened with Blade Runner.
Yes,
It
yes.
starts there. Now you've got hints beforehand, the whole corporate thing in things like Alien, in Silent Running back in 1973. But that mise en scène, that's it's always a bit dingy. It's always it's not quite raining in Total Recall, but it wants to.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm,
and basically, very much the future that we knew in the 80s and know now.
mhm.
But it's gone bad. It's not going to be nice. It's going to be dingy. It's that world again, isn't it? That dystopia.
Yes, absolutely. I've got two comments here which are kind of
Hmm.
two sides of the same coin. So Open Fireworks says, memories are notoriously fallible. We kind of create
Mm.
our own stories anyway. And then King
Hmm.
Quaps has said, your memories aren't accurate anyway, so go for it.
Hmm.
Do you agree with that? Just go for it anyway because they're not accurate?
No, no, because I'd rather my own inaccuracy from organic degradation and aging than someone else putting adverts in my head or ideas in my head. Or, as in this case, an entire new personality in my head.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
That's
Exactly.
terrifying to me. That's the greatest terror.
The thing is,
Um,
we see corporations are in Verhoeven films in general and in Total
mm,
Recall. Vilos Cohagen, he is the head of he's governing Mars, so
mm,
and I just feel like there's this whole level of control throughout the film that
yeah.
they control your memories, they can put implanted memories in. Cohagen controls the air. There's all
The
this
air,
control.
yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
levels of control here, and I think that whatever your memory is, you feel like it's your own. Okay, I
Mm.
understand the points of what is being said in the chat, but
Mhm.
I just want my pure degraded memory, like what Rupert
Oh,
said.
yeah, me. I want to be me.
Yes, exactly,
For
exactly.
better or worse, warts and all. But at least I know who I am, where I've been, what I've done, and with whom.
Yes,
And
exactly, exactly. And
yeah.
Rye in the chat says there's a difference between truth and fact. A memory playing out can feel completely real and is true to you as you know it, but factually it might not have gone down how you remember it. So it's a very considered point by Rye. And King Quaps has
Hmm.
come back to say two questions. What if you thought a memory was your own, or if you forgot a memory was artificial? Oh, see, this is where it gets confusing with Total Recall. I like these questions in the chat though. This is why Total Recall's a good film. Look at all the conversations you can have from this one
Uh, uh.
film. And Rupert was slamming Arnie a bit there, but it's
I would
it's a
never slam Arnie. I can't reach.
yeah, it's a great film. Let's go on to some facts. So let's move on because we're going to go into the themes, which is going to bring up a lot more conversation going forward. But let's move into the facts here. So I was surprised to read online actually that the movie was in production for over a decade, but
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised because you will probably know this, Rupert, that the screenplay went through 40 revisions. Now, when you're writing something, how many revisions do your things go through? Is this a completely normal thing?
I tend to try and put a cap on it at three, if I'm working on my own. The one that I was talking about before, the one we've been working on, Dark Code,
Yeah.
that's just reached draft four.
Right.
Um, but that's coming together. That's three people working on it, and it's come together really quickly. That's a different kind of process. 40 revisions. I mean, that's producers getting stuck in. That's different money men coming in and going, oh, could you do this? um, which the writer I know would have sat there going internally, no, because that's
Yeah.
a fucking terrible idea. You can't write.
Mm-hmm.
But would have externally gone, yeah, of course I'll do that. That's brilliant. Well done for thinking of that. Yeah, yeah. Inside, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I
You
hate you.
hear this all the time with like really amazing
Hmm?
films like that people get stuck in. And I've got a friend who has a film coming out on
Ah,
Amazon like this year, and
ah.
before, and it's been years in the making, and he
Mm,
just wants it out, but a lot of
yeah.
people get involved, a lot of people get involved in that process, and
And
from the
people
editing
haven't.
to the writing, it's become
Yeah.
something it's not, it's like just trust people to enjoy the creativity. Do you know what I mean? Instead of
Yeah, yeah. I'm no auteur. I don't necessarily believe in the kind of one person with the great. Stanley Kubrick, yes.
Mhm.
People like that, of course. Myself, no. I always want to collaborate with others, and that makes the whole thing stronger, especially actors and directors.
Yes, yes.
Um, but there's a cut-off point where it stops being your thing. It stops being that it's being pulled in so many directions that you have to just go, no,
Yeah,
stop. The script's
absolutely.
like that, and if you don't like that bit, then screw you.
Absolutely. It becomes
Um,
some bastardized version, and you're like, I can't put
yeah.
my. I would imagine that I'd be thinking, I don't know if I can put my name to this anymore. Like, I just
Well,
don't know.
it's not just that. It also can become really thin broth. There's nothing to it anymore because the meat's been taken out. Um,
I'm glad with
which,
this one, and I'm glad that Verhoeven, because it's interesting to hear that it went through 40 revisions, and also,
mm,
interestingly enough, I didn't know this either, that Cronenberg had got involved in one point and was going
ah,
to direct, but then left because of creative differences, went on to make The Fly, which is amazing, which is a
yes,
great film.
yes.
And then,
We should do the fly.
which is, yeah, we should do The Fly actually. Um,
The Fly is one of the few remakes that I think is better than the original.
I love The Fly. Okay, let's do The
Mm.
Fly soon because I
Right.
friggin' love The Fly. But a lot of now we all know, if you don't know Cronenberg's films, like Cronenberg's films are amazing. Please go look them up. But Cronenberg, a lot of his original creations remained in the final version, like Quatu.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that actual creation of a Quaid, the little guy in his stomach, the little mutant guy, and the
Mhm,
leader of the resistance,
mhm.
that is a Cronenberg creation. So I found that really interesting that they kept some of that in. which I wonder.
It clearly kept the good stuff.
Yes, I'm wondering what it would have looked like. I think it would have looked like a completely different movie,
Yes.
completely different. I think Cronenberg wanted to remain very faithful to the book and to the story.
Mm,
And I think
mm,
that's what he wanted to do, and the producers didn't want that. So they were like,
yeah.
no, we want to make it like a thing, which is fine. And the effects are so amazing. So that one special achievement award,
Ah,
I didn't know that
the
it won
effects
a
are
special.
lovely.
It's so amazing. Special achievement award at the 63rd Annual Academy Awards, which is
Can
amazing.
I can I go on about effects from that kind of era for a
Please,
second?
please do, please do. Let's talk about
So
effects.
I'm a great fan of model shots over CGI. I don't like CGI. It always looks computer generated to me. Even the modern stuff, it just looks like a computer game to me. I like model shots.
Yep,
This is probably because of my age. Um, and when you get to this point, when you get to 1990, 89, 1991,
yep.
just before CG starts coming in, which it does with Jurassic Park really in 93,
Mhm.
92, you get the apotheosis of model shots. They've got it all right. Optical compositing, model filming, lighting. They've really, really, model shots by this point have had 100 years of work on them.
Mhm.
And it looks gorgeous. Doesn't it look gorgeous? It's a
I
gorgeous looking.
I friggin' love practical
Yeah,
effects.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love practical effects. I love model shots. I love
yeah.
like when I'm watching like the making of Blade Runner and things like that. I'm like in
Hmm.
awe, because they're
Yeah,
really
yeah,
and the ingenious way that they and the same with Alien, which we talked about the ingenious way they're trying to make
yeah.
sets look bigger and things look bigger, and they're doing it
Absolutely.
through brilliant camera work and model
Yeah,
shots.
cleverness, and forced perspective and things like that, which they used on Lord of the Rings as well.
Yep,
Um, he was a big fan of that kind of movie making, and there's
yep,
the stop motion in Total Recall as well, with the face coming off, and then and animation, conventional animation with the skeletons going through the X-ray scanner. There's a load of all the practical effects. This is kind of pretty much as far as they got before CG started coming in.
absolutely, absolutely. Because
Mhm.
this was really when at this point, this is when it sort of marked not the end of practical effects because we still use them, but the end
Oh
of
yeah,
that kind of era. We moved sort of more into CG sort of stuff
yeah,
there for because it was 1990, so it was really the dawning of a new decade, a
absolutely.
very colorful big decade, and so that's where we went after that.
I tell you what though, doesn't it scream the 80s? I always think with decades that the first couple of years of each decade is kind of like the dog end of the previous
Oh,
decade.
total
So,
hangover from the 80s, hangover.
yeah, so 1990 was basically kind of 1989 plus one, and 1991 was kind of, it's starting to go, oh, maybe we're the 90s now, but it's still quite 80s.
Oh, absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
and
I
and
mean,
of course,
I mean, this would have been
sorry.
concept. This would have been concepted in the 80s, so it looks so
Mm,
80s. And they would
mm,
have made
mm,
it
mm.
probably in like 89. They would have been writing it in the late 80s and stuff. So,
Is
I
concepted a word?
conceptualize, concepted. Is that a
Hold
word?
up.
Guys, can you tell me how to speak English,
Concepted.
please?
Concepted. I like it. It should be a word. It makes sense. I'm just not sure it is.
I've just made a word up. Can someone confirm? Blimhoff in the chat.
Concepted.
Blimhoff says practical effects look so much more organic. Yes,
Yeah, yeah. They're
they
more real
do.
because it's a real thing.
You
You
can
know, at the
you
end of the day,
your brain knows that if you can touch that if it was in your room
absolutely.
you could touch it, and your brain also
Yeah,
recognizes the look of rubber, the look of skin, the look of
yeah,
hair, and you can feel
yeah,
it in your head,
yeah.
and so that's what makes it conceptualized or conceived. Thanks guys. Thank you. Conceptualized or
I like
conceived.
concepted. Let's use concepted in the future.
I like
That's your
concepted.
word that you've invented now.
Thank you, Tubes. Thank you, Strangle. Thank you for teaching me English. Conceptual. I am a writer as well. Jesus Christ. God's sake, you guys. Brain is fried. I had a lot of marking to do this week, so do forgive me. Um,
Hey, look, I missed out Tuesday completely.
I mean, and also Rupert forgot that Tuesday. He missed out Tuesday
I
completely, and
missed
then
out.
this
I didn't forget. I didn't forget at all. I
this
just thought that Wednesday was Tuesday.
because I was like, you were like, oh, it was because we're supposed to do this every Wednesday. We're doing it on Thursday because Rupert was like, oh, I need to watch the film again, and yeah, like I didn't think it was Wednesday, and my
In
brain
all,
is fried.
in all fairness, last week it was different, was it not, Claire?
Yes, it was. Oh my god. You know what's happened? We've both gone to recall and we've both got our memories wiped.
We're new people. We're clearly new personalities.
We're
So
new
this whole
personalities. You're getting something
yeah.
completely different. What? I don't even
Ooh,
understand. What is a
I
cave
tell you,
FMV? I don't even know. I don't even know.
I was about to say. I'll tell you what. We'll put that straight into the Cave FMV.
Yes! What are you talking about? What is a cave FMV?
Why?
Ooh!
I don't know. I have no idea. How on earth did we segue it to a Cave FMV again? There, that's ridiculous. It's like this. It's like this whole podcast is some long-winded marketing exercise.
You know, totally. You guys find out like in about a year's time, we're like, oh, we're marketing the cave FMV. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, we're
yeah.
doing the slow sell. The
Oh
slow
no,
sell.
these guys will be the smug ones who will know about it way before anyone else. So when it goes out, when it hits Twitter, they'll be going, oh yes, yes, we were there. I don't know why they're smoking. Yes, yes, we were there when they did the podcast where they first mentioned the KFMV. I think you'll
Yeah.
find we know about it.
Guys, if we
Bless.
ever do the Cave FMV, anyone who is in this chat listing, if we have this show next year and we're still doing and we do a Cave FMV, we will give you the download codes first. You will get them
Yes, we will.
first.
Actually, yes, we will. Yeah, yeah.
One
Come on, beta
hundred
test.
percent. 100.
Yep.
You will get it first and nobody else. And you can play
Yes.
it to your heart's
Damn
content.
right.
Damn
Damn right.
right. I will even say it online because we record these. I'll just type it quietly into the chat and you can have it there. So you'd have to actually be watching it.
Nice, nice.
Type it. In fact, you'll have to join the Discord and follow me and follow Rupert. All of the marketing ploys. There you go. There
Very
you
good,
go.
very good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're cool.
Nice.
This cave FMV is going to blow up, Rupert. I really feel it. I really feel
Oh,
it's
it
going to
is.
blow up.
It is. It is. Yes, yes. Maybe in the last scene when we can't work out how to finish it, we'll just blow the whole thing up, So, and then the cave explodes. Dot dot dot. That's great for a writer. Terrible for the effects people, but that's not my problem. Nor is it yours.
I love that you would put that in and then this cave and just go ha. There you
Oh
go.
yeah.
Do that.
I'm a prisoner fan. I'm happy to fuck with the audience.
Yes.
I'm happy to go. Ha! You thought you knew what the ending was going to be? You do not.
Right, guys. Oh my god, we're getting sidetracked again. Rupert.
Yes. Hello.
Wow. Okay, let's go back to themes. Right. So
Yes. Let's do that. Let's talk about the film. Good
There's
idea.
no segue. We'll just talk about themes. So
Yes.
there's a few themes here. Okay, I think totalitarian rule, which is very topical right now, being
Isn't it just?
this unofficial trilogy that I mentioned earlier, and I read this in a Guardian article today, and I thought, wow, how clever! Actually, I never thought about that, and I'm coming back to this point again because it's almost like Total Recall is the middle film between RoboCop and Starship about authoritarian governance. And I like this idea because this is really a theme that flows through the film. Now, when I was first watching it, I was just like, space, Mars, and I wasn't really thinking anything else.
Yep.
We'll give these people the air.
Give them the air. The alien machine make the air. Ow.
Ow.
My eyes are popping out.
Oh, I love that. I love those effects.
That wouldn't
my
happen.
God, yes.
I researched that. It wouldn't happen.
What actually happens if you're jettisoned into into space?
If you're in space, you freeze to death. Well, you suffocate is the first thing that happens, and then you freeze. But actually, skin is strong enough to not, you wouldn't kind of blow up because of pressure, lack of pressure outside, and so on. I researched this last year. I can't remember why. Oh, I remember why, because I was writing a bit where someone got teleported into space.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it would actually be quite a slow death. It would take about 2 or 3 minutes. But you'd have 2 or 3 minutes gazing into... Well, no, you wouldn't. You'd have about 30 seconds gazing into space before your eyes crust over with frost.
That sounds like the worst death. That sounds awful.
I can think of worse. I don't know. I think burning, maybe.
Burning's quite bad.
Burning's quite bad. I mean, at least your last sight is the universe.
Yeah, I suppose. But then you're kind of in pain. You can't breathe, so it's not like you're taking it in. I mean, I'm very practical.
Lawyers quibbles, Claire. Lawyers quibbles.
We've got here, Strangle says, you freeze, then you turn into a Batman villain. Yes, because we know that Arnie starred in Batman and Robin later on in the 90s. Cactus says, the Ice
I think
Age.
she gets it.
Okay, themes.
Themes,
Stay
yes,
with me. Stay
themes.
with me.
The- I'm with you.
Propaganda. Now,
We're doing.
another thing that I love about Verhoeven's films is they're heavy on propaganda and capitalism,
Yeah,
or shining a light on
yeah,
propaganda and capitalism.
yeah.
Like the war, like I mentioned, that's seen in Starship Troopers. At the very end of Starship Troopers, you see these kids, and he's deliberately cast, like, I mean, they look like about 15, and they make the point
Mm,
of going, God, these are like kids, they kind of make the
mm,
point, and
mm,
then they go, let's do it, like that's because you're just churning out these
mm,
bodies to go to war. But that
mm.
propaganda, capitalism, and that profit over Mars. I mean, I think that possibly, I don't know if you agree with me, but I think that Ronnie Cox, who plays Cohagen, is possibly one of the best villains in sci-fi. Absolutely brilliant. Would you agree? Do you think he's the best villain in sci-fi?
No, I don't think he's the best villain in sci-fi because, I mean, for a start, Darth Vader exists.
Mm,
But but
I don't know. I don't know.
but
Like
he's but
capitalism. I'm telling you, like if capitalism got their claws on Darth Vader, he could be bought as well. Definitely. So I
if
think
capitalism tried to get its claws on Darth Vader, he'd just choke it
that's
with
true.
his force. Um,
No, I still
so
think
so
Cohagen. Cohagen, man, he's
Cohagen is beautifully real, isn't he? And completely relatable. You know, you sit and watch it and you go, "Oh yeah, I know that guy. I've seen that guy on the news many times." And that was as true now as it was when the film was made.
yes, yes.
So, unfortunately, those kind of "I will fuck you over for my own profit" capitalists haven't gone away,
No.
which is a shame. And it's unusual, I think, for a film from 1990. I mean, the 80s was very, very capitalistic, certainly in England and America. Greed is good, and the whole yuppie thing.
Oh, one hundred
I
percent, one hundred
I, I,
percent.
I remember the sea change and thinking, I don't like this new world. This ain't me at all.
One
This isn't
hundred
what I was
percent.
promised when I was growing up. This isn't what I was told I was going to have. I thought I was going to have a hippie future with flower children
And it's been
and
it's
and
been 25 plus 30 plus years now
yeah.
of that, since the 80s, say, of that capitalist, and I love
Mm,
that we can see it played beautifully, and sometimes we're clobbered with it through sci-fi, through film,
yeah,
and we can
yeah.
learn from that. And I think it's only just now, I hope that the younger generation are seeing, waking up and going, wait a minute, this capitalist society is hurting me,
As
hurting
we
my
said, well,
family.
of course, the thing that we didn't have in the late 80s and early 90s was the environmental awareness as well.
Yes, 100%. I honestly
I mean
think it's
that.
gonna, like, this is, we are in this time of, we're moving slightly away from Total Recall, but I think sometimes there's times of chaos when things are about to change. It might be for
Mm,
the better or the worse, but this is the chaos bit. This is everything in the bottle getting mixed up and smashed together, and then
I think. Sorry, carry on.
go on. And what do you think?
No, no, no. I think we've been in chaos ever since the Industrial Revolution.
Oh, okay, even
Um,
further
because
back here.
because because then we started being able to move faster than we're supposed to be able to. I think our technology has advanced faster than our understanding.
Yes,
Not
even,
our
yeah.
understanding, not our understanding scientifically, obviously, otherwise technology wouldn't be there. But our understanding of ourselves, our kind of self psychology as a species.
No, you're right, because I
Uh,
always say the same thing about social media. I'm like, okay,
mm,
we're able to create social media and have these
mm,
platforms that can measure algorithms and connect people. However,
mm-hmm.
we have not been using them for that long, and we don't really know how to use them. Therefore,
Uh,
you see corporations and governments and Cambridge Analytica and all of these things
mm,
using them for bad. There's people that do use it for good as well, but we don't know how
of
to use
course.
them. They're
No,
unmanaged and
no.
unmanned, and so, yeah, I don't think we know. And now we're reaching the information age, and the information wars are ahead of us, and now that's a different vibe. And I just feel like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so everything's gone so fast for us, and we just have
Mm,
never stopped to go, wait a minute, how do we use this? How do we do this
yeah,
right? We're just
yeah.
going more, 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 more. We just want more, and that's
That's kind of what we do as a species. That's why we've advanced so far, I think, because we always want more.
more.
But the time has come where we have to kind of go, okay, let's have better rather than more.
Yes, quality. not
Yeah.
quantity.
Quality over quantity.
So
Absolutely.
back to villains, because we had a few people in the chat
Yes.
saying some really good villains. So sci-fi villains. Moon Foundation says the Borg. Yes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yes, they are.
Or, as I insist on calling them, the Cybermen, because Doctor Who did it first.
Okay, or the Cybermen. A very good choice. I love that Moon Foundation. I love that. Skynet, says Ellie. Ellie says Skynet from like Terminator.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Skynet.
yeah.
So I like those
I
two
mean, that.
because they're kind of faceless, kind of
Yeah.
just take over, no
Mm,
feeling. No,
mm,
you can't even hold their hands and look into their eyes and go,
yeah.
please, please. They're just like, nah. Logic says that we take over you now. That's it.
Yeah.
There's like
Yeah.
nothing to it. I am Gog says Roy Batty from Blade Runner. Roy Batty is the real hero of Blade Runner. I love that guy because Roy
He is.
Batty was mentioned, but he's not really a villain in my eyes.
No,
He's
not to me either. No, 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 no. He is a victim.
he's a bit. We'll talk about Blade Runner perhaps at some point down the line. So we
Mm,
can't. I forbid us both from saying anything more about Roy
right.
Batty, but I think that's a really, really, really good one. So more about the themes. Memory
Mm,
and reality obviously play a very big part. At the end of the film, when he has liberated Mars, do you
mm.
think that actually he has, or is it another memory?
Well, a good. I mean, yeah. So the end is interesting, isn't it? They start this old alien machine, and it basically terraforms Mars.
Mm-hmm.
And makes the atmosphere breathable, and he's lying there with his girlfriend, and they're both going, "Arr," and their eyes are popping out. Um, and then suddenly it's kind of like, oh, it's all right,
Yeah,
fine. I
yeah.
mean, the gravity's wrong. They should be bouncing a bit for a start, and the pressure's wrong. But all right, fine. I suggested the blame from Planet Arus. I'm not going to go on about
Yeah,
realistic.
exactly. Come on.
Um, come on.
Wow.
Oh, choir boy. Yeah. So, and it suddenly gets a bit messianic. It's like the whole thing of the music's going, "Ah," and God's coming. The lights shining down through the clouds,
Yeah,
and Mars is suddenly habitable, and that's a bit kind of fuck off.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. It is a bit kind of.
but
After all that, we reached that ending very quickly, I thought, as well.
very
So.
quickly, very quickly, yeah, the bad guy goes out and dies, and his eyes pop out, and his teeth fall out, and his face falls off, and he looks sad. And then they go out there, and they just about manage to avoid their eyes popping out, and their teeth falling out, and their face falling off, and they're looking sad. By this miraculous alien device, I'd have loved to know more about the aliens. I'd have loved to know more about this device and how it works. Is there a cost? Is there a price
Me
for
too. Me too.
you know? And I get why they haven't used the device to terraform Mars beforehand, because profit, they can sell air.
Yes.
Um, but does that make sense? Because if you terraformed Mars with this alien device, you could mine all over the place much more easily with less outlay.
Yeah. See,
So I kind of thought,
honestly, I agree. I thought that it.
mm,
I thought you have this big. The one thing about Total Recall, if I had to really nitpick it,
yeah, yeah,
is that ending. It kind of goes zoop. Goodbye.
yeah,
It's like a
yeah.
kind of like a Disney ending almost, and it's just
It's very, isn't it? It's even shot like Disney. It's even shot like he's Moses. The pair of them
yes,
walk up top of the cliff, and there's the big God coming
yeah.
through the sky bit,
And
and
he
you,
gets the girl, and she's quite a strong character, and it's
yeah,
like, oh yeah, and it's very. So that I would
she's
say,
she's she's not a sweaty Sharon Stone there.
oh,
I'm just saying.
Ripper,
Yes,
contain
hello.
yourself, my friend,
I'm
contain
entirely
yourself.
contained. I'm streaming on the internet. Of course, I'm contained.
Now, I wanted to make a comparison, which I thought of because I watched a documentary, it's a Michael Moore
Uh,
documentary, and
huh?
he mentions now it's not about this particular point. I can't remember what the Netflix documentary is called, but he talks a little bit about Flint, Michigan, and how the state or Flint, Michigan, the people in charge were
Mm.
keeping clean water from the people, from from poor people, And
Really?
what was happening? This is a thing. If you go type Flint, Michigan water, you will see very quickly, and you can watch this documentary, and it's absolutely appalling.
Uh,
They had rerouted, and it's all to do with money, and they'd rerouted the water. And I'm paraphrasing, and I'm trying to remember this documentary, so correct me if I'm wrong, people in the chat. So that it was coming from a dirty source that wasn't clean. And it was very simple to just take the clean water, but they were it's all to do with money. It's all to do with climate
Reverse
actions.
osmosis. I have a friend who does this out in Africa.
So really,
Yeah. My oldest friend, literally my oldest friend, he's about 84 now, and he goes out to Africa and he builds water factories that basically process the water that you can't use there. Because otherwise, the people out there who haven't got much money have to buy things like Perrier water bottles, and that's expensive. And he went out there when he retired and went, well, hang on, you've got water, you just can't drink it. You build a reverse osmosis factory. That's how you do it. So he's
the
doing that.
Flint, Michigan, they actually directed the pipes towards a source where it was poisoning. It's still poisoning the people to this day. They still don't have clean water, and there's
Huh.
cases of I think it's copper. There's copper traces in the water and things.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Obama actually went to visit this place, and you can see him like they're going, "Help us, Obama, help us!" And because he's in with the people that run the state, he picks up a glass of water during this footage, drinks it, and it's not, of course, it's not water from the lakes. He drinks it
Nah.
and he goes, "I don't see any problem with the water," and then leaves. And I'm
Uh,
like, wow. I know Obama's better than Trump, but I think
but still, there are problems. Oh,
there. I'm like,
Strangle's going to be talking to you any second now. She's going to be getting straight in on that one.
I'm just like, seriously. So like I love the way, and it's the same, we see this here with Total Recall. It's much more profitable to keep people paying for air than it is just to solve the problem that they have. They can have a beautiful
Yeah,
environment and a beautiful place, a beautiful planet to live on, but it's
yeah,
not profitable.
yeah.
Therefore they have to live in
Yeah.
squalor, and we see that all the time in the world.
Well, aren't we seeing it now with the lifting of lockdown? You know, at no point has it been said anything as simple as, oh, now you can go and see people, now you can go and be normal again. It's all kind of, oh, no, now we can restart the economy.
Yes, it's lead.
Because,
Moon Foundation says it's lead. I mean, they're both bad,
yeah,
Jesus
oh, yeah.
Christ. But
Um,
we see this all the time. There's like, even now, we're going, oh, well, okay, so I don't want the pandemic to be here. I don't want anyone to to die or anything like that. But the environment has had a rest.
mm,
There's things that are happening. There's other ways to live that we can maybe look at, and
oh,
but everyone keeps going, let's get back to normal. Let's get back to normal. It's like, well, maybe we have to. Maybe someone's telling us something. Maybe we have to live in a different way.
working from home. Why doesn't everyone work? I mean, apart
I,
from people working in factories on machines, why don't we all just work from home?
I love working. Some people don't actually. Some people don't like working from home. Some
I
people hate
know, I
it.
know, I know.
I love
They're
it.
weird.
I
They're
love
weird
working
and
from
should
home.
be killed.
Now, this is a question I had for you. Quato says this to Quaid: "You are what you do. A man is defined by his actions, not his
Mm.
memory." So this is a question for the chat, and this is a question for you, Rupert. Do you
Mm.
agree that a person is defined by their actions and not their memory? What would you say?
I think it. I think it's simplistic because memory informs action.
Right. Okay.
Memory helps to form who we are. I meet a dickhead who treats me like a dickhead. I don't go and meet that person again. I remember them. I remember that type of person. And if I meet someone who's a dickhead again, I'm inclined to go, I'm careful of you. Um,
True,
so,
true. I'll give an
so
example, sort of real life example. I
mm,
guess the only example I know from this.
mm,
So there's a someone, when you get a friend that's married to someone you just don't like. Well, there's that. So this friend is married to someone we don't particularly like,
uh-huh.
and I have tried and tried throughout the years to be kind and to be nice to this person. This
Oh,
person
I know. Yes.
this person has shown me nothing but disdain to the point that we can no longer see our friend because there's such a
Uh-huh.
rift. Now, that person works in an industry, it works for charity, and is actually, by definition of action, a very good human being. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that person's not a good human, okay? I'm not saying they're evil. But what I'm
You
saying
kind of
is,
are, though, aren't you? You kind of mean that.
I'm
You're kind
kind
of
of like,
implying.
why are are you a dick? Like, you're doing
Yeah,
some nice things here, but why are you such a dick? And I've seen you being a dick
yeah,
to other people. So that's a tricky question.
yeah.
It's a tricky question. I really do believe in action speaking a lot louder than words and all that, but that's a different phrase, I guess. And sometimes I might get busy. I might not be able to call people or check in with friends. But when I do, I am very much an action person.
Mm-hmm.
I throw them a present, a gift. I
Mm-hmm.
show people that I love them and care for them by giving them things and going, hey, look, because I might not always be there. So I'm not sure how to answer that. I'm kind of in between, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure to answer. But what you said, I also agree with. Doom says it's a very hard question because actions, of course, form memories,
Absolutely.
which makes it less plausible that you would change. But perhaps you can change. But perhaps you can't.
We all do change.
Exactly, we
I'm
do
not the
change.
same person I was when I was 20.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm not the same
You
person
know,
either. I don't think anyone
um,
is. We grow up.
I'm not the same person I was when I was 40. 8 years ago. I've
Because
learned more.
exactly your experiences shape you.
Yeah,
So, but I
and
don't
I've learned more about myself as well.
exactly,
It's
which
not just
is
it's not just external learning; it's internal learning. So we always change.
the one good thing about being old, not the wrinkles or all that, but it's actually being wiser. Genuinely, I welcome the wisdom that is to come.
You know what, Claire? I'll let you know when I get there.
The thing is, I always think, and I've got a few older friends who are in their 60s and 70s, and they seem now
Mm,
so wise to me and
chilled. Yeah,
calmer. And I'm like,
yeah,
whoa,
yeah,
why does it
yeah.
take so long to get to that point? you know?
You know what? You know what? The two friends I've got that I talk to regularly, who are in their 80s, funnily enough, they are not calm. Both
Are
of
they
them,
not?
no, both of them are highly aggressive about the world, going, no, this isn't how it should be.
Yeah.
At the
They're,
moment, I think they feel a bit betrayed. It's kind of like this isn't what I expect.
that's
This isn't
fair.
what I was told in the 60s.
It's personality.
Uh,
It's personality as well. So you
yeah,
got to take into
yeah,
account
yeah.
nature, nurture. Strangle says
True.
here, they're saying sometimes people do good things in public and are dicks in private to make their reputation better.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
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 like
yeah,
I
yeah.
think sometimes
Absolutely.
Doom here is added. So Doom's had a think, and Doom's come back to say, no, I don't think actions in itself make you good. Merely that it makes you less evil. To some extent, if you're a bad person, the mere fact that you exist can in some ways harm people, like pheromones, psychic projection, if you believe in that kind of thing, signals and stuff. Getting very philosophical and very deep in the chat, but it's a hard question to ask you guys. It's a hard question to answer, rather, because I do think that memories form your personality. I
Mm.
do think, though, that actions can.
Partially. I mean, there's lots of things that form personality, but memory is a definite part of it.
Oh,
Has to
absolutely.
be.
Experience. So, experience
Yeah.
and memory can come hand in hand, but, like a
Mm.
far away memory can shape you as much as an experience I have today.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
like,
Mm.
there's a lot of things. We are very complex, complicated,
Oh, we are.
quite frankly, annoying creatures. like, quite
We're really, really badly designed. I mean, seriously, the upgrades in the brain happen bit by bit and usually hormonally based rather than kind of like you get to 20 and you get kind of, here's Rupert Booth 2.0, download. Good. I know who I am for the next 10 years. I'll get Rupert Booth 3.0 in 10 years' time. That'd be great. But no,
yes.
it's just random blob-like evolution.
I
I
just want
love
all the
blob-like
cheat codes.
evolution.
I want the cheat codes so I can have the downloads now. So can I have the downloads now so I can just be like totally cool and then
The
I can
cheat,
get
the
over
cheat
myself
codes of
quicker.
life.
I want the
The
life's
cheat
cheat
codes of life is
codes.
exciting. Life's cheat codes. That's a self-help book. That's a piss take self-help book.
Or it could be another FMV. I'll talk to you about that later.
No, 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 no. This is a self-help book. Trust me. I see it in my brain
Okay,
head.
okay, okay. In his brain heads. Okay, and it's a very
It's okay.
strong brain head. Very
We
strong
will
brain
we
head.
will co-write this. We'll co-write this. It'll be all great. Yeah. I
I've
know
got
what we're
so
doing.
much
I know.
shit to do when
Yeah.
this is all over. Rupert's going to be like, Claire, remember that thing we said? Do you remember the other thing we said? And do you know the 500th project we
Yeah.
mentioned on stream? And I'm going to be like, wait a
Yeah.
minute. We need bullet
Yeah.
points. We need bullet
Yeah.
points.
Yeah. Bullet points are your job. You're the writing it down person. Remember?
Yes, I am. I will
I don't have
actually.
to write it down for once. When I'm talking to you, I don't have to do the writing down. You do it.
I
That's
have
great.
started, and I have started with the writing down bit. So I have actually, because I'm that sad. I have a notebook that has much writing.
Organised.
I'm
That's
very
organised. That's not sad. That's
Look how
organised.
organised that is. All these notes, guys. Very organised. That's
Who,
my brain
who,
right there.
who told you it was sad? Don't be shaped by your memories.
That's true. That's true. I get that.
See,
Get that.
I'm bringing it back to the film.
12
A
year old
segue.
Claire. 12-year-old Claire's gone. 12-year-old Claire's gone. It's okay. It's safe to admit that I like bullet points now and admin. Okay.
It's even better. 12-year-old Claire was right.
She was right. She was right. Then she got massively sidetracked by playing sad girl songs on the guitar for a long time.
Yeah, that happened. That happened. I imagine. I mean, I've never played sad girl songs. I've probably
I want a
played sad boys.
boyfriend, Mum. Why don't boys like me, Mum? Like, oh God, never have a teenage girl. Anyone in the chat here with a teenage girl? Good luck. But just
It's
never.
been a long time since I've had a teenage girl, believe me.
Oh.
I was a teenager at the time. It was loud.
I know what you mean.
Okay,
Guys,
good.
let's get
I'm
on
just
to
making sure.
let's get on to the sci-future part of the podcast, which is
Let's, for the love of God, do that.
my God, this has been quite a deep one. It's been quite a deep
Yeah.
one. So let's get on to the future part, because we talk about what it might be like to live in sci-fi worlds, right? Scotty Malotti says, I've got 2 teenage girls. Oh my God, Scotty, commiserations. I'm sure you love them, but good luck.
Yes.
Good luck with that.
Yes.
Just good luck,
What she
Scotty.
said.
Yeah. Just be kind to yourself and take some time out. That's all I'm saying. Do we think that
Scotty, change the laws of physics. Just change the laws of physics. You know you want to.
do we think that the future will look like this, with corporations running planets, making people pay for air, making people pay for gravity, not what do you think? Like, do you think that the future looks like this?
Oh boy. If you'd asked me that this time last year, I'd have said yes, absolutely. This year, fuck knows what the future looks like.
Yeah,
I haven't a clue what comes out of all this. How long this goes on for?
I know.
I think this could be like the eugenics wars in Star Trek, where it's a big changing point that moves us towards the Federation and being nice to each other, and if a lot of people love each other, world will be a better place, as Tommy Wiseau says. But as it stands at the moment, I don't. If it becomes profitable, well, I mean, Elon Musk's fascinated by Mars, isn't he?
Oh, God.
I mean, he's really into Mars.
He is like one of those practical effects made. He's an anthropomorphic practical effect, just walking, living, and breathing. The guy looks weird. I'm sorry. I don't want to.
He's made rockets that land on platforms, though. He can reuse. That's impressive.
I'm telling you, if there's a Borg takeover, he's in charge. I'm telling you, he's one of the Borg. I'm telling you.
Is he going to be the Borg queen?
He
basically?
is. Yeah, he is the Borg queen, king,
Right.
whatever. He's Borg guy. Borg.
It's all right,
dude.
Claire. I've got your back. I am bald. I will Locutus the fuck out of this.
Yes.
My job.
We've got Rupert.
Yeah.
Yes, get
I'll,
in there, Rupert.
I'll have a little laser by my eye, and I'll come on a podcast one day. I am Locutus of Booth, and
Yes.
you'll talk about the film, and I'll just going no assimilation.
Sir Y
is
says, yeah, he's a Borg sleeper agent. I'm telling you, he's a Borg sleeper agent. I'm telling you, yeah, for sure.
I might be.
For sure. Not you, but Elon Musk. You need to get in there and mess up the system, Rupert.
Right.
You need to get.
I need to. I'll do that. Okay, yeah, because pandemic going on. That's fine. I'll just travel to Elon Musk and mess up his system. Right. Hang on. He'll assimilate me. He'll put his tubules. I don't want Elon Musk's tubules going into me.
Oben Fireworks says Elon Musk's next rocket will be cube shaped. I'm telling you.
That won't work then, because that'll be totally against aerodynamicism.
He's Borg.
That won't lift off. That'll just kind of go.
He's Borg.
He is Borg. He is Borg.
He is Musk. He is Musk, one of many. Is it?
He is Musk, one of many.
I was like, the words were coming out of my mouth, and I wasn't quite thinking, and I was like, wait, that sounds kind of weird. I like it. I'm not sure if I like it.
No, he is Musk.
He is Musk, one of many. Okay, so
I wish my surname was Musk, actually. Musk's a great surname, Rupert Musk.
I think my Paul tweeted out the other
Smell
day.
my Musk.
My Paul tweeted out the other day because he sometimes tweets out some politics stuff or he'll tweet out whatever's in his brain.
Mhm.
And he went, I've often wondered what it would be like to be Grimes and Elon's baby. Son of Musk, they would call me. I think son of that. Like, Paul says,
It would be
son of the
great.
Musk.
Well, well, you'd be born rich,
Yeah, well,
so that's all right, isn't it?
it would be alright. Yeah, it'd be alright to be the son of Musk. It would
Yeah.
definitely be, yeah, spawn of Musk. Absolutely.
Spawn of
Spawn of Musk.
Spawn of Musk Part Two. This
I'd
time it's
100%
personal.
be spawn of Musk. It'd be fine. Be fine. I could use my Musk powers for the good, not the evil.
Absolutely.
Musk
Just
powers for good.
spread your musk.
Spreading all of my good Musk round the
Yeah.
world. People all over the world, join hands. This is a Musk train. Oh,
What a
God.
very distracting concept. Spread all of my good musk all over the world. I mean, yeah,
People all over the
that's fine.
world, join hands. This is a
Just
Musk train. Musk
I'm a sniff of my musk. Yeah, it'd be great. Good, good.
Oh my God. Ode Musk says I am God. Ode Musk. Yes, that will be my perfume line as well.
Oh, the musk. Oh, the musk. Yeah, yeah.
Ode Musk. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a businesswoman, but I'm also a good businesswoman. Gogs.
I suppose no one here is old enough to remember the denim adverts from the 70s. There was an aftershave for men called Denim, and it was done in that voiceover. And all it was a hand, a female hand, going up a man's torso, and then eventually he went like that, and it went Denim for men.
I'm seeing
I think
that for
I
Ode
think
Musk. Ode Musk.
I think that's your advertising. I think it's Musk.
Yeah,
For
or just
you.
like somebody, a nice gentleman's hand just going up my arm, and then me just slapping it and going Musk, slap it off. So it's different types.
So you're snapping it off. So you're actually going.
Musk.
So your musk is the musk is a repellent, is it?
Different times. This is 2020. It's not a 70s denim advert. I'm a powerful woman.
I think Claire, I think you'll find in some ways everything is a 70s denim advert.
It feels like it feels like
Even Total Recall.
even Total Recall. Musk.
Hand going up, kind of like, no, get off me. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Sorry. Themes. Oh my God,
Themes.
we're massively running.
Themes. Are we?
Themes.
Right.
So
Yes, themes. Hello.
the consequences of implanting memories. If this is a thing that we can do in the future, now we've talked about whether
Yeah.
we want that or not. I think we both agreed we wouldn't want that. But
No.
what would be the
no.
consequences if we lived in a future where people could just implant these little holidays? And now they can't.
Massive psychosis.
Yes, I think so. I think
Isn't
so.
it? It's going to fuck you up because you've got an entire set of memories that you can't relate to memories. Fake memories, femories, and it's like fake news taken to the extreme. Actually, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Even what you remember in here isn't right.
I mean, this is the thing. Our shared memories are what bonds us, or we
Yeah.
exchange memories to bond
Yeah.
together. So someone might go,
Absolutely.
"Oh, I went to this place," and someone might go, "Oh, me too. I remember when that happened." And then they'll start to talk. You'll make a bond. You'll have a nice time, whatever. But when somebody's talking about something that didn't happen, and someone else is also talking about another memory that didn't happen, and I'm just like, no, massive psychosis.
I mean, Memory is ownership. My memories are my life, not yours, not anyone else's, mine. And I share them, and as you say, we bond about things, all that sort of stuff. But if your memories aren't your own anymore, then you're not quite you
no, you're not.
anymore.
And then how do we relate to other people? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. How do we even relate to ourselves?
I know. Like, imagine I'm too poor to get an implanted memory, and someone is going, "Oh yeah, I went to Jupiter. I went in this and I'm like, really? I don't know what it's like to go to Jupiter. I've got no basis of reality in that. I can't even begin to imagine."
What you do is sit there. You talk to your hacker friend beforehand. You sit there while they're being smug and go, "You didn't go to Jupiter, actually, and you're a grotesquely ugly freak." And you're just pretending you did. And then when they go, "Oh, well, I remember that I did though, so at least I've done it more than you," your hacker friend goes spike, and they suddenly get
hackerfriend.com/recall.
they suddenly get Coca-Cola adverts in their head, replacing those memories.
Strangles made a good point though. Actually, Strangle said, Wouldn't that just be like movies, though? If everyone went to recall and had the same fictional memory implanted, they could still chat about it. Maybe you'd have a podcast about the memories you'd put in. So we could have a podcast.
Well, no, it wouldn't. Well, it depends if you know that the memory is fake or if you don't know. If you know the memory is
Ah,
fake, then that you watch a film, you know that Arnie isn't actually that person. He's Arnold Schwarzenegger, an actor, sort of
of course.
playing a part. Um, I always say that acting is basically lying, except that the audience is complicit in the lie. You're not trying to pull the wool over anyone's
That's
eyes.
a good point. That's a
Um,
very
you
good
know,
point.
everyone knows I'm not actually Inspector Jenks. I just play that part.
Exactly,
Um,
exactly.
and so that's fine. That's consensual.
Yes. Strangle
But
agrees.
if
Yeah, you'd have to know it's fake. Strangle agrees with that,
yeah,
absolutely. You'd have
yeah,
to.
yeah.
You'd have to. You'd have
I
to
should
know.
hope she would. Um,
Um,
yeah.
Shona
But
Mercy. Shona says here it would be good if it was a memory you didn't want to forget when you're older. Oh, right. So kind of like holding on to a memory that you won. That's a different concept, I guess, of the
you know
implanting.
what? You know what? A good companion film to this would be Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, it would. Oh.
That would be an interesting one to look at as two sides of the argument. Yeah, where they take painful memories away.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Is that a sci-fi film?
mm.
Could we talk about that?
It's a film about taking, putting memories into and taking memories out of. It's science fiction. Yeah, yeah,
Science fiction? I think we
yeah,
could add it to the list because it's a good film.
yeah. It's a great film.
Is
Love
it?
Eternal
Yeah.
Sunshine.
Okay, so that's going on the list at some point future.
And the Truman Show, or as I call it, The Prisoner.
Oh, the
Um,
Truman. Yes, of course. Yes, absolutely. The Truman Show's great. Yes, The Prisoner. You're totally right. Now, guys, that
well, sort of.
and with that, because he has to get a prisoner mention in every single week. That
I
ends the
do.
podcast.
I
Yes.
do. I do. I've done the cave. I've done the prisoner, and I've gone. Oh, I'm happy.
Arr. So this podcast has been, I think, one of our deepest yet, Rupert.
Yeah.
Was a
Yeah.
lot. You know what? For a film that some people go, oh, it's silly, it's nonsense, it's Arnie. Look how much we got out of that. I mean, that
It is
says it all.
silly. It is nonsense. It is Arnie, and those films are sometimes the best kind of art because they communicate ideas widely.
Yeah. Yes,
And
absolutely.
I think that's important. I think it's important to try and get interesting thoughts across in the very main. It's a funny film in a way because, of course, it comes from a book, and the background, the concept is very, very high concept, very intelligent. And then the other side of it, the production-wise, you've got lots of
Yeah.
action scenes, and you've got Arnie going "ow," and you've got a comedy black sidekick. Unfortunately, okay, I know he turns out to be a bad guy, but
I think.
it's a bit interesting. It was interesting to watch that bit, in in light of recent events.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I think nowadays, if it was made, I'd like. You know what? I don't want to see another remake of Total Recall, and I think it's very much time and place actually as
yeah,
well.
they should. Remakes are shit.
Yeah, remakes are absolutely terrible. I think though, if this film hadn't been made now, we'd be seeing a very different film. So imagine there was no Farrell
Yes.
film, no, and it was just being made now. It would be a
Yeah, yeah,
very different film, very very different. Probably
yeah.
starring The Rock, probably starring
Probably
Dwayne
The Rock.
Johnson,
Probably The Rock. Yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah,
The Rock. Yeah,
yeah,
probably The
yeah, yeah.
Rock, and
I mean, ideally you want Derek Jacobi, but all right, we're not going to get Derek Jacobi. Again, he hasn't got the pecs.
guys, with that concludes Sci-Futures podcast. Rupert, where can we
Hello.
find you online? Where can we find
Well,
you?
well, you can find me on Twitter, where I'm Rupert Booth.
Yes.
And I kind of hang there and talk to people when they talk to me.
Yes, so please go follow.
Please do.
Please go follow Rupert. The link is in the chat right now. It's twitter.com/Rupert Booth. We'll be back again on Wednesday, Rupert, not Thursday. Because Rupert.
Listen. All right. Who last week on Tuesday said, right, let's do the podcast then.
That's true. And I was like, okay, so we've both been recalled. So
Yes. We both had one each, so now next week we both have to get it right.
now we're both going to get it right. Next week,
Yeah.
so it's Rupert Booth on Twitter. I'm Weeclair on Twitter, Weeclair here on Instagram. I'm going to be staying, if you're watching live, I'm going to be staying here with you guys. But next week, we're going to be doing silent running. That's what we're going to be doing next week.
Yeah. Love it.
Yes. So I've never seen Silent Running, so I'm
Haven't you?
I'm very
interesting.
excited to see.
I will be fascinated.
I'm
I'll be fascinated.
very excited. Guys, everybody, please say goodbye to the lovely, lovely Rupert Booth. We will see you again next time. Stay
We will.
safe, and we will see
Hello.
you soon. Wow, wow, wow.